here today to do a pretty big book haul. So let's just crack on. Some of these books I ordered online and some of these books I bought when I had a complete indulgence day on my last day on holiday in Edinburgh. I just went to town and went around all the shops and had a lovely time and just bought lots of books. Let's get cracking. So the first one you might have seen me speak about in my currently reading, which is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Now the reason I bought this, I'm just going to move a little bit closer. The reason I bought this, you can see, it is just an amazing looking book. Now, for those that don't know, I am 36 years old and I was born in 1980, so 1980s looking things just make me feel all warm and nostalgic. But, so I bought it, of course. It is what it says on the tin. This is the story of a young girl in high school whose best friend gets possessed, and as a result, Abby, the main protagonist, has to try and help her friend while her friend is basically trying to ruin her life. It's really good, it's quite scary and it's quite gross and I can't wait to finish it. I can't even read this at bedtime because it gives me nightmares. Next book, I can't remember if I've hauled this or not, so I'm just going to stick it in. Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shona Maguire. I've been dying to get this for absolutely ages. It's the sequel to Every Heart a Doorway. If you don't know what that is, it's a very popular book and this is the second book in the series. The book I've been meaning to get my hands on for ages. This is a very popular booktube book. This is The Good Immigrant, written by various people but edited by Nikesh Shukla. This is a collection of essays about immigrants that live in the UK and their experiences. From what I've heard, this is a very important book, so I had to read it. Now these two I got because I accidentally bought the third in a trilogy and didn't realise because the book was so pretty. So I've got The Prince of Mist and The Midnight Palace. These are both by Carlo Ruiz Zafón. I'm probably pronouncing that fucking terribly, but I'm very sorry. This is the same person that wrote Shadow in the Wind, which I really loved. The Midnight Palace is a haunting story of a secret society and a labyrinthine railway station with a dark past. This one, Max Carver's father moves his family away from the city to an old wooden house on the coast, but as soon as they arrive, strange things begin to happen. Max discovers a garden filled with eerie statues, his sisters are plagued by unsettling dreams and voices, and a box of old films opens a window to the past. The Passage by Justin Cronin. This is a bit of a beast of a book. Amy Harper Belafonte is 6 years old and her mother thinks she's the most important person in the whole world. She is. Anthony Carter doesn't think he could be in a worse place than death row. He's wrong. FBI agent Brad Walgast thinks something beyond imagination is coming. It is. Unaware of each other's existence but bound together in ways none of them could have imagined, they are about to embark on a journey, an epic journey that will take them through a world transformed by man's darkest dreams to the very heart of what it means to be human and beyond. Because something is coming, a tidal wave of darkness ready to engulf the world, and Amy is the only person who can stop it. So there's a review on Goodreads that basically summarises this book hopefully pretty well. Just says this is a book about some crazy government type shit, an apocalypse level infection, and the group of people who 100 years later are on the hunt for the truth, and there's a little girl. So, the last one of Nnedi Okorafor's books that I've been waiting for, Lagoon. This is set in Lagos and there's a marine biologist who is there when a meteorite hits the ocean and causes a massive tidal wave, and a few others have to try and save the city. Now, knowing Nnedi Okorafor, this will have sci-fi tendencies because she does predominantly write sci-fi, so I'm really excited to see what happens with this. I don't really want to know any more than that because I feel, again, like it spoils it, so woo! First up, Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. Jenny is sharing her struggle with depression and mental illness in a funny and uplifting but also heartbreaking way. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and look, it's got a raccoon on the front. Pig Island by Mo Hader. This is a thriller. Set on a remote Scottish island, Pig Island tells the story of a journalist that specialises in debunking supernatural hoaxes. Why does it sound weird when I say hoaxes? 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 Hoaxes. I'm from Lancashire. Hoaxes. Anyway, and it's all about, well, I guess it's about the people on this island. Again, I didn't want to know too much, but it's what happens when people really believe these things. I'm running out of tea. Black and British by David Olusoga. Can you see that? Black and British by David Olusoga. I've seen a couple of people talk about this on BookTube and it just looks absolutely fantastic, and again I think this is another really important book. David Olusoga tells the rich and revealing story of the long relationship between the British Isles and the people of Africa and the Caribbean. It reaches back to Roman Britain, to Elizabethan blackamoors and the global slave trading empire. Black Britons fought at Trafalgar and in the trenches of both world wars, while the great industrial boom of the 19th century was built on American slavery. Black British history is woven into the cultural and economic histories of the nation. It is not a singular history, but one that belongs to us all. And you may notice at the minute I'm picking up a few more non-fiction books to do with things like racism, feminism, mental health, because I just feel like it's really important to widen our knowledge about, I don't know, be better people, so that's what I'm trying to do. The Night Eternal by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan. I picked this up in a second-hand shop. I think it might have been from Armchair Books in Edinburgh. I saw it was by Guillermo del Toro and was just like, yeah, of course I'm going to buy this. A world where there's been a nuclear winter and night is eternal, vampires rule the earth and basically every human has been enslaved. There are a few who have not been enslaved and they are the resistance and they're trying to fight back. Sounds quite a lot like Daybreakers. Oh my god, this is book 3 in the Strain trilogy, what a fucking... So this is book 3 in the Strain trilogy, and yet again I haven't done my research and I've bought book 3 and I don't have book 1 and 2. What an idiot. So I have watched Strain the TV series, so I probably know what's happening, but now I'm going to have to buy book 1 and 2. Fuck's sake, Becky. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I've never ever read this. I've heard lots of things about it and it was just there in the shop, and it's not a very big book, so I figured I'd give it a go. For those that don't know, it's set in the 1920s and it's about decadence and I'm not entirely sure what else because I haven't seen the film, but there we go. Darker Than You Think by Jack Williamson. The unsettling dreams begin for a small-town reporter, Will Barbie, not long after he first meets the mysterious and beautiful April Bell. They are vivid, powerful and deeply disturbing nightmares in which he commits atrocious acts, and one by one his friends are meeting violent deaths. It's clear to Barbie that he is embroiled in something far beyond human understanding, something unspeakably evil, and it intimately involves the seductive, dangerously intoxicating April and the question, who is the child of the night? When he discovers the answer to that, the world will change utterly. So I feel like maybe it's got something to do with wolves because of the front, but I just read the back and I thought it sounded really fun. I love a bit of mystery and a bit of intrigue, and if you're going to throw a bit of horror in there with it, I'm all for it. I got the second in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, which is The Royal Assassin. If you've watched my wrap up, you will have seen that I 5-starred Assassin's Apprentice. It's got to be as good as the others and I want to read it as quickly as possible because I don't want to forget what happened in the other one. Not a second-hand book, but a non-fiction book. In Order to Live, A North Korean Girl's Journey to Freedom by Yeonmi Park. This is a true story of a 13-year-old girl who risked her life when her and her family decided to try and escape North Korea. Finally, now, I may be the only person on BookTube that doesn't have them yet, but I actually don't own any Harry Potter books. I have read them, I do love them, I love the films as well, but for some reason, I think because I've already read them, then I've just never bothered buying them. However, I did treat myself to the paperback 20th anniversary edition of the Ravenclaw, because I am a Ravenclaw, of the Ravenclaw Philosopher's Stone. But does anybody else know if they're going to release the rest of the books in the same design? Because I'm going to be a bit pissed off if I've just got this one book and then I have to get all the rest and they don't look the same. Will they be waiting for the 20th anniversary of the other books? I've tried googling it and I couldn't find anything, so let me know if you know. This next book was a complete impulse purchase when I was stood at the till in Waterstones, and it's Off, Your Digital Detox for a Better Life. The regional office is under attack by Manuel Gonzalez. This was another spur of the moment book. I read the back of this and I thought this sounds really fun. It saves the world every week, but can the regional office save itself? Leading the assault, Rose, a teenage super assassin with a serious attitude problem. Standing in her way, Sarah, who has a mechanical arm and knows how to work the printers. The stakes? Not only the regional office, but the fate of the world. Trans Voices, Becoming Who You Are by Declan Henry. I went to a bookshop called The Lighthouse, I think it was called, which specialises in political, feminist, anything like that books. It's got fiction books in it as well, but also I haven't seen anybody talking about this on BookTube, and I thought it sounded very interesting, so I thought I'd give it a go. Drawing on over 100 interviews with individuals, this book is a compilation of the voices of those who have decided to undergo transition, both male to female and female to male. The book details the diverse experiences and challenges faced by those who transition, exploring a range of topics such as hormone treatments, reassignment surgeries, coming out, sex and sexuality, physical, emotional and mental health, transphobia, discrimination and hate crime, as well as highlighting the lives of non-binary individuals and those who cross-dress to form a wider understanding of the varied ways in which people experience gender. So I thought that sounded like something that would be useful, something that would be informative, and again, I'm just trying to grow as a person, and I figure learning to, well, I know not all trans people are the same, but just widening my knowledge about trans voices can only be a good thing. Cold Blood by Richard Kerridge says adventures with reptiles and amphibians, and I know you can't see it from there, but the front's like embossed and raised and it just feels really lovely. It says, as a boy, Richard Kerridge loved to encounter wild creatures and catch them for his back garden zoo. He found smooth newts, mottled like the fighter planes in the comics he read, and the longed-for great crested newt with its huge golden eye. He found lizards, toads, marsh frogs, grass snakes and once an adder. Based on a lifetime of fascinated study, Cold Blood is partly a natural history guide and partly a funny and touching story of friendship, family and the love of wild nature. Through close observation, it shows how even the suburbs can seem wild when we get close to these thrilling, weird and uncanny animals. I myself have a bearded dragon called Trevor. I'll put a picture of him here. He is the cutest little dragon in the world. I've had him for almost 7 years now, since he was a baby, and he has a giant vivarium full of all natural things for him to live and have hopefully as happy a life as he can in captivity. But I'm always interested to learn about reptiles and amphibians that we might come across here in the UK. Carrying on with the theme of trying to become a better person, fuck it, The Ultimate Spiritual Way is by John C. Parkin. So this is meant to be an inspiring and humorous look at spiritualism for those that lack spirituality. I am not a very spiritual person, I'm not religious, I just believe in being a good person. Gossip from the Forest, The Tangled Roots of Our Forests and Fairy Tales by Sarah Maitland. Maitland travels Britain's forests not just to enjoy the hush but also to investigate the cultural link between woodland and fairy tales. So this sounds wonderful. I love being outside, I love looking around forests and being in just nature, and I also really like fairy tales, so I am looking forward to this. I am late to the party but I haven't seen the film, I don't know the twist. The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I've been getting into more thrillery stuff again recently. I kind of go through fits and starts of what I like reading. This, at the minute, I'm kind of liking thrillery, horror-y kind of things. The final book in my haul is Hagseed by Margaret Atwood. You can see this is a beautiful red-edged book. So this is a retelling of Shakespeare's The Tempest. Margaret Atwood, put more Margaret Atwood in your face. That is my massive haul. Thank you for sticking with me through all this billion books. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe, and I will be back soon with another video.